let's get the demo first. This is same series of Dapper in .NET Core Web API. So in this session, we'll cover like multiple mapping in the Dapper, right? So let me show the demo, what actually that means. Once I execute, see, uh, we have a company and company have employees, right? So we have get all the result using whatever company and their employees. So this collection we have achieved using that multiple mapping. So how we can achieve this multiple mapping in the Dapper, that we'll learn in this session. In previous session also we have used we have learned actually multiple query, how we can use that multiple query, but here we'll use the single query, but how we can map that multiple data like this, right? So let's get a start first. But yeah, before starting, I'm especially recommend to you go to my session, means my YouTube channel, which is a .NET real world example. Here you can check my Dapper series, all the series which have covered everything. So you have to first read or go through my this session, all the Dapper series. So let's moving start. I will take a same example which I already cover everything. So this repository also available in my GitHub link. You can check out my GitHub link. So what I need to do first, I have to go to iCompany repository. Here I need to expose one method and a signature. So let me call this, or let me create this method as the signature. The name is call this get companies employees multiple mapping. So how we can achieve the multiple mapping, that we'll learn over here. Don't worry about that. We'll do everything from the scratch. And once it's done, let me go to that company repository. Here what I need to do, simply implement using that inbuilt function, and here just remove that, and I have to implement our concrete class over here. So first, I need to write a one query, so which will return all that companies and their employees, right? So see, this is a simple query which is returning select star from this join and join employee, and the join actually that company ID, and along with this, if I execute this query in our SQL DB, so definitely you will get that all the data, right? But it is a flat structure, right? So if you go to here, see, this is a flat structure. But what I need to show in our API, like whatever company and how many company that corresponding company, how many employees, that I have to show as a foreign key and primary key, primary and foreign key relationship, right? So that's way actually we have to do. How we can do that, that will achieve over here. So if you go to the next implementation, what I need to do, I have to actually create that connections. So let me create a connections over here, like as like we have done in previously. So this is similar way we have to done. And let me remove this guy and let me add one more. So yes, so that is done. Now see, I have created a connection, right? So now what I will do, you have to use this connection as a I have to get that company's information like that. So what I need to do, I have to just store as a list on data using as a dictionary. So what I need to do, I have to create a one dictionary object, which is store that ID, whatever ID, and that company object that I will store first. Means that I have to initiate first, create a variable, and then what I will do, I have to create that extension method, right, to get that list. So this is the way actually store a company's variable using that await. So make sure once you use the await, so you have to decorate with async. So this is important. And once you await async, get query extension method, and see here the tricks actually. What I want, I just separate with the company entity, employee entity, and again this company entity, right? Like this way actually you have to uh, pass your entity, what type of entity actually you have to try to. So let me create this method, and inside this method what I will do, I have to create a lambda function as per this query. So this is the lambda function. Actually, see, this is a query, and then whatever company and employee, I just trying to split over here. And once I split, then what I need to do, simply using this bracket curly braces, and here I have to implement such kind of things. We have to object, right? We have to company object and that employee object, and then we have to manipulate that inside this in a company as a dictionary which we have to create it, right? Then we have to return back. So first what I will do, I have to simply check one if condition. So whatever company dictionary, if any id and this is if not exist, then we have to add inside this. So how we can add? Simply I have to just create a current company over here and assign whatever company, right? So this company I just simply assign to over here. Don't worry about that, there is some error that will be fixed. I think there is some bracket and these are actually missing, so that will fix, not issue. Yeah, here simply see this one actually open but this is not closed, so that will fix later also. But here then again, once I add this company, see this is a current output company, right? So this is actually we are get the data, and this get the data actually whatever company we just simply assign to over here, right? And then what I need to do, I simply add uh, the data inside this dictionary, like this company dictionary, add whatever current id, what current company id, and that whatever current company, right? So the whole object I have to add over here, right? If it is not exist in this, if it is exist, then what I need to do, simply simply add to that current whatever that current current company, whatever that current company, I simply employee need to add directly employee, right? Here if it is no company not exist, then we have to add that company. If it is exist, then we simply add to the company, like this logic. Actually this is a pretty much uh, not a simple logic, but yeah, this is a logic actually. And then finally what I need to do, simply return that whatever current company that we have to return, right? So like this way, and then finally we have to just close terminate this method. And finally once it actually execute internally, they will execute everything actually internally. Okay, what all the based on this an entity company and model, they will trying to execute one by one that flat line, and they execute and they will store. And then once it's done, and after this bracket this one, what I will do, simply I have to return whatever companies dot dictionary as a dicting, or you just use the dicting, or that up to you, and simply to list. So like this way actually we can achieve with this single join query with the foreign key and foreign key and primary key and foreign key relationship with the multiple mapping. So this is done. Once it's done, let me go to the service. Let me create a service method. Go to that service folder, go to the company service. Here I have to expose one service method. Let me call that name as it this get company employees multiple mapping. And also we have to implement that method over here in this company service in our concrete class, and go to here, remove that, and simply I have to call that whatever company repository I have to call over here, and we have to retrieve the data. So let me write this code. So this is the company repository get company mapping, and here we have to always mapping if I using the await. And then we have to whatever data we have, again we have to, it is an entity, right? So this entity list we have to bind, we have to convert actually the DTO. so which we already covered, but yeah, simply see mapper.map whatever company model we have, and this is a entity, so we have to map and simply return to response. This is done. Our abstraction layer also done. Now moving to our controller, and here I need to expose one more method, one more endpoint actually, so that is called this http get, and that company's employees mapping, multiple mappings, and here simply you have to call that method, a service method, and you have to get the data and return back to the data. Now let me build so that we can make sure is everything working fine. So build succeed, let me run and go to down here, that newly endpoint we have to edit multiple mapping. Go to here, simply there is a no parameter. Once I try to execute, you will get the all the data with this company id 1 we have our employee data, and then company id 2 we have another employee data, and as like a company 3 we have that another 2 employee data. Like that also we have a company 6 we have only 1 employee data. Like this actually we can retrieve our result. Let me put a debug so that we can understand and know better like how is actually working. So if it is really hard, because there is some logic we have put over there, right? So let me put debugger point over here, and also debugger point inside to here, right? Because there is some logic. So what I need to do, let me execute. Once I execute, debugger point will be reach over there, and now see here, first what I'm trying to do, I just create a dictionary object, and if I put the debugger point over here, yes, now I'm able to hear and see. Here we have a company object. See, whatever company we are getting, one by one actually it will iterate, right? And also there is an employee. So this company has a this employee. They all the lines, like for example, they will retrieve all this row, and their row have that object, right? So company has a no, employee has a company, which company and which employee, company id, right? So based on this actually we have to trying to over here see, this is not exist first time, it is not exist. So what it will do, it will simply assign over here as a company, and then based on this id, whatever company id, they will store in this dictionary. And once back here also we have that employee, right? So simply again they will add as an employee object as well inside this current company, right? So simply add and return back to as a company. So similar, they will do one by one all that, like all that row, and they will add simply. So all that has been done, then go back to over here, and then let me continue and remove this debugger point. And once it over here, see, you will get the result along with, see, their this id and their company, their id and along with their company, right? And then finally once I distinct, so they will remove all these duplicate rows, because see here the all that rows, right? See here the row is like id1, id2, id3, id1 again. See there is a id1 again. So this id1 and all these things they will do as a distinct, and they will return back to our only just unique result. So if I show you here, see there's only just 4 result. So that's why we using the distinct. And let me continue, and once you continue you will get the only that unique result, right? So that's how actually we can achieve with the multiple mapping. And that's all for this session. But yeah, before closing I'll just again recap what we actually achieve over here. So first I have just create a one repository, signature method over here, which will return list of that company, and this will be implemented in our company repository class, concrete class, and here simply I have to pass that join query which will return all the data based on this all the company and IDs relationship. And here I have to create an object, and this object actually we have to use that that company and employees data we have to store as a here as like this, and then we have to store our dictionary one by one, and then finally return back to here. And this repository method we have to use in our service, so that I have to create another signature for the service, and here we have to implement simply we have to call that repository layer and repository method, and we have to conversion over here, and finally you have to call this repository in our controller. Simply I call that as a service and get back the result and show it to over here. So that's all for this session. Thank you, have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.